The views, information, and opinions expressed during the following program are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent the views of Access Communications, its representatives, or its employees.
On the beginning pieces of the building pieces of Opie. Now I am excited to share with you the birth of who I am now and all the pieces that made me where I stand today. My team loves to do a bunch of random things for me. They touch my forehead for yes. They slam the back of my head for no, because I'm a little stubborn, I have to say. And they squeeze either side if you or I are saying information that's very important and needs to be reiterated. With that, they do a lot of things with my body. So you'll see me like a duck on water. It's calm, cool, collected, chuckles of course, and underneath it's a mile a minute. So for somebody who is experiencing depression, my head will spin. If somebody is an alcoholic, I'll want to purge and my head spins. If somebody's diabetic, my hands and feet go ice cold. If somebody's on a lot of medication, I get a really bitter taste on my tongue. So I get a whole bunch of different things that occur. Now the big thing that you need to remember is there's a lot of energy behind me. Can you imagine how much is connected to you? And the thing is, when I'm channeling information, I'm not going to get it 100% because I've got Bob, Sally, Janice trying to shove through to get to their loved one, and I'm doing my best to honor the one that's the strongest soul, okay? So if you resonate with a lot of the information, please own it. Work with me. Let's explore it. I want you to receive that connection to your loved one. This is my good friend Lori, who is going to be sharing our time together. Lori, I'm so excited to share where we are currently.
So where are we?
This is where the rebirth began. This is where all chaos broke loose and everything I had worked for in my journey had been ripped from my life.
Everything that's happened in your journey that we've discussed up until now really led to this pivotal moment.
Oh, it really did. And I'd like to take you back to, I was married at this point. I had been with my partner for 9 years. And 5 years of those 9 years, we had infertility issues. My last treatment took, and my second son came to me. So that was incredibly important, and the most significant part is, again, a pregnancy was a catalyst to my expansion. So with that, we were together for 9 years. I'm in my last trimester of my pregnancy, and all of a sudden I get a text message of my then husband messaging me to say he is leaving me and walking away from the path that we were together. Now, as you can imagine with anybody, you would be heartbroken. You would be devastated. From there, I discovered the other woman, and I sought assistance from a psychic medium. It was the first time I had connected to one. This woman completely changed my life. I'll never forget going into that appointment and her being able to quote things he said that I had never spoken to somebody else. Quoted our life, quoted who he was, and brought forward all these pieces while I had my 4-week-old child at home. Up to this point, he kept me dangling, kind of keeping the in-between limbo of us potentially having time together, rebuilding our life together. But after that session, I knew where I wanted to go, and I would never, ever turn back.
Yeah, that moment for you, Opie, this was the moment where your heart opened up. What happened next?
It was a lot. So what happened was I would go to her for consult because all of a sudden the child support stopped. I was on mat leave and the bills started piling up. I didn't know how I was going to proceed. My income was not significant and his was at that time. And every time I went to consult this psychic medium, I kept thinking, wow, what an incredible gift and what an incredible job. But she kept telling me to prepare because it would get harder and harder. And I kept thinking to myself, how could this get harder? We had utilities turned off. I went significant time frames without food. My children weren't able to receive basic supplies like shoes or be able to engage in sports. I couldn't seek consult of other resources because to the system, it showed that I would have this much money coming in when the reality was the child support was piling up and no payments were coming. I tried to sell our home, which was a beautiful home, but kept falling apart. I'll never forget the day that my door fell out, our fridge kept breaking down, the water pouring into the basement. There was unlimited amounts of chaos happening on top of an already challenging situation.
You were really at the depths of your despair at this point, and yet there was still something that was leading you forward, and there was this internal determination.
Yes, no matter how hard it got, I always led with joy. I wanted to be present for my children. I wanted to create happiness. And if anything, the psychic medium really gave me hope. She really gave me an opportunity to look forward and keep moving there, knowing one day I would receive happiness and have the dream life I dreamt of.
You really drew so much strength from the darkness.
Oh, I really did. And you know what? I got focused, Lori. I focused on who I wanted to be, what I wanted to become, and what I wanted my life to encompass. And I did not waver. No matter how many challenges came, I kept moving forward and I kept holding hope that things would align. From here, I sold all our furniture. Our house went into foreclosure. And I basically had to slowly give away my animals because I couldn't feed them anymore. Everything I had hoped, worked for, and tried to obtain had literally been taken from my path. But I always had my children, and luckily, I always had my job.
Despite all these challenges throughout your life, you still were being guided and you trusted in this process that was unraveling.
Yes, and I really feel like the psychic medium really supported me on that, giving me ideas on how to maneuver, what to be prepared for, how to navigate through these challenges, and what was on the other side of it. For the first time in my life, I had hope. I had hope of everything coming together.
She really provided you with so much direction and hopefulness, and that's what really got you out of that pain that you were in.
It really did, and really learning how to hold joy and happiness in the most challenging of times, because a lot of people don't realize this. It's a choice to be happy. It's a choice to see the blessings on no matter how hard your situation can be.
It's incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've just shown so much strength and perseverance, and it's so admirable how you've moved through such challenges and come out to be this beautiful, inspiring woman.
Thank you so much. I am happy to report when I was here, I was able to get my divorce. I had to fight 3 years to get to court, but I received it, and from there, I was able to have my house foreclosed, and the next place that we are going to explore was the place of hope, was the place of happiness, and that my boys and I still hold very close to our heart on those times and those beautiful memories. Well, Lori, this is one of the happiest places I have yet. This is the place that I feel I became me. I took my power back and I created my destiny. This is where my children and I got to pick the place that we chose our lives to be. Not only that, we had the exciting piece of picking out all our furniture, and that was the cherry on top. Being able to create our space and create the atmosphere that we were going to have together. My 2 boys, my 2 cats, and an empty apartment that we got to fill with our memories and our pieces.
Wow, that's so beautiful. This was really the moment where the clouds started parting and the light was shone down on all of you.
It really was. I mean, work was going great. I was crushing it at the gym. I had a great community of people there, and I started exploring holistic well-being. I started exploring meditation. But the biggest thing was I got on the other side of my divorce. I started to be able to be in the position where my money was able to provide for my boys, and I didn't need the child support. And we had nothing but laughter and joy in this incredible home.
It was this beautiful state of independence, and you really just like ran with it, and your family experienced so much love and joy.
I really did. And I think the best part was I could feel this connection of my life mate coming my way. And I could feel this wanting to create a family dynamic again and feeling their energy coming into me. I got told about a healer and I decided to explore it. It was my first modality outside of the psychic medium. And I went to this session and it was quite beautiful. It was quite sentimental to my heart. And she looked at me and she said, "Do you know how strong and how many abilities you have?" And I laughed at her and I said, "Listen, I am just the black sheep. If anybody's going to mess it up, that is going to be me." And she said, "I think you should look at taking this course." I looked the course up, but it was out of my financial being at that point, and I didn't have the ability to leave Regina for 3 days to take it. Well, 3 sessions in, all of a sudden, my life mate came to me and our destiny started. Now, up to this point, I had multiple surgeries on my abdomen, and the chances of me conceiving again were 1 in a million. We went to Mexico, and our souvenir is 4.5 now. So my doctor laughed, and she said, "You should buy a lottery ticket." So I fast forward to being thankful and grateful for this beginning piece. This is where I met my husband now. This is where my children still speak of the happiest moments of their time. And I think of taking ownership of my path in this home.
That's so incredible. Your journey has just been so uplifting.
Thank you. It's quite exciting to kind of look at it and just see all that happened there, all the beginning pieces that happened, and everything that had happened before, really kind of leading up to the awareness of where I'm at now. Building those tools within of developing my empowerment and knowing who I am. I think the biggest thing is when you know who you are, nobody can change that. Nobody can put you down and have you impacted by that, and nobody can rattle your cage anymore because you know who you are. And I think that was the greatest gift that I got in this location.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Who would have thought 400 square feet? And my children still share the stories of that.
So Opie, at this point, this is the most joyous moments of your life. And I'm wondering, at this point, were your abilities present?
I had really strong intuition moments. And it's funny because my ex to this day still swears I had a tracking device on his phone, but I literally was starting to trust my intuition. I was trusting my own decision making. I was trusting that the choices I was making without seeking other people's approval or opinion were making my path aligned.
You had so much self-trust that you were embodying, but also a sense of community and a sense of presence within that community. And you also mentioned you started meditating and just doing more for yourself. And you've shared a little bit about your time in this place. Can you share some more memories?
Oh my gosh. I remember my children being free to be themselves. We would dance. We loved putting videos on YouTube and dancing on the couch and dancing in the family room. My little guy, I used to wake up and he would crack the eggs every morning all over the counter, which I would never be impressed with, but he loved playing with it and I never got upset. It was just so joyous to see him in the moment and being able to enjoy something that I personally would not.
This really feels like it was your safe place.
Yes.
And no matter what was thrown at you, you really just took it and ran with it and did it with so much love.
Yes, it was such a beautiful time, and you know, it was really trusting myself and learning who I was and knowing that no matter what, we were going to be okay now. No matter where we went in our path, we were going to be okay as a family together.
Well, now this room I recognize. Where have you brought us?
So, Lori, since we went to the last location, I married my beautiful gent and we expanded our family and we have our home here. It's interesting because on mat leave, I was coming to the end of it and all of a sudden I had this need, this pull. I looked at my husband and I said, Jason, I have to take this course. And he said, listen, I support you. Whatever you need, we will make it happen. Literally 2 weeks beforehand, money came through. It was a long weekend, and due to COVID, we had the ability to now do it online. So I no longer had to leave the city to do this course. It was incredible. June 2020, I took my course, and from there, my destiny really became Opie.
Wow, so this love of your life, you know, you've always had this trust for one another, and he's always supported you in absolutely every aspect of your life.
Oh, my husband, Jason, has been absolute angel in my destiny. He has always been an advocate of me exploring anything and everything I need in my journey. He has always been celebrating every success and always been a rock to fall on. I couldn't do this journey without him, and now I know why Spirit brought him into my path to support me in this wild ride that I do now. So from there, Lori, it was really cool because June 2020, I took the course. And all of a sudden, I started practicing. And I sat him down on the couch one day. I said, challenge me. Give me something I don't know. And he asked me to discuss his childhood favorite spot that he remembered at his grandmother's home. I started telling him in detail about the garden, the statue there, and all the things he used to do in the yard there. And he looked at me and he said, I think you're ready. So I all of a sudden reached out to people I trusted and said, would you like to speak to somebody on the other side? And everybody that knew me shook their head going, what do you mean? You're a medium now? Are you kidding me? And I said, well, I don't know. I'm just learning this. So I started practicing with people. I started exploring things with people. And September 1st, 2020, I decided to open my business. And I hit the floor running. It happened quickly. It went very fast. Slowly and surely, one by one, a person would find me and book with me.
Oh, that's incredible. What an incredible journey you've been on. And from the time that you started to discover your gifts again, your abilities again, until this time that you started working in September, how much time was that between?
June to September. So June, July, August, September. So it wasn't even 4 months, because I think it was the end of June, and then September 1st was my official date that I opened my business.
Wow.
Yeah, it was kind of wild. And the interesting part is, I think Spirit wanted me to do this for quite a while. So they've really hyper-sped my journey. They've really sped things along. Within 6 months, I had my first missing person case. I was teaching within the first year. I had consulted with different people that crossed my path all over Canada and the States to support me in my journey, to educate me, to give me more knowledge and challenge me in new ways. So I had a wider variety of tools in my toolbox.
Everything just snowballed so quickly.
Yeah, it really did. It was just one piece after the next. So I always remind people to trust the journey, not to rush it, because when we go a little too fast, our brains could explode. It gets a little overwhelming.
You took your time in a way, and yet it happened so quickly.
It really feels like it was just a blur. All of a sudden, I'm here, my business is blooming, people are finding me because I'm very new in the community. And I get to connect in so many different capacities now. So it's very exciting to me for people to trust me in what I do and to hold space with me in connecting to the messages of those that they seek.
So Opie, you've talked a lot about your life, and you've even shared a little bit about the mediumship and some of the psychic reads, and I'm wondering if you can share what kind of services you offer.
Oh, absolutely, Lori. It's interesting because a lot of people come to me thinking that they have to have a loved one on the other side to experience my services. But as a psychic medium, psychic reads are actually connected to your future energy, your future destiny, your choices, and who you are. Anything connected with you. And mediumship is external to that. That is your loved ones on the other side, friends, and a lot of times it's even people that you don't even expect. So somebody you knew as a child, somebody from high school that might be popping by to say, hi, I'm okay.
That's incredible. You can connect with people and who they are, but also those that have passed on.
Absolutely. And the beautiful thing is there isn't limits with what I can connect to. I can read your body and receive information that can support you in having a healthier lifestyle. I can also connect to your animals. I can connect to your environment and read different energy that's affecting you in there, or different circumstances that you can alter to support you. I can also do different things like remote viewing on situations, or even the forensic work of trying to bring clarity or pieces of information to support somebody in connecting to their missing loved one.
Wow, so what you offer is so personalized. And you mentioned a missing persons case, and can you share anything about that with us?
Sure. I've worked about 15 missing person cases, and they've been all over Canada and the States. I've only worked with the families so far. And the problem is with that, you have to be very cautious not to inflict more trauma in an already emotional state. And I always remind people, I don't solve cases. That's the police officers, and they're very equipped. So I'm just a support. I'm a guidance of information that can kind of align connection or illumination to something that is being missed at that time.
You're offering so much support for people during the most difficult times of their lives.
It's something I really value with my abilities. Being that I have been at so many dead ends in my journey, and how alone you feel during those moments. It's interesting because at our hardest times, I found that's when we receive the most judgment, the most negative experiences with those that we trust. And I want to be an advocate for somebody. I want them to be empowered in their choices and who they are, and taking charge of their destiny. I want to support people and connecting to them to their best possible experience in this life. I invite you to explore me on social media with Instagram, Facebook, or my website, opieconnection.ca. You never have to be alone in your challenges. I am here to connect you to clarity and to support you, walking with you in your journey.
If you'd like to share your feedback on the program you just watched, contact us today